if you are earning these relationships and you're earning these people that are around you and you're showing up for them, I've watched exponential growth every single year. It doesn't matter what the marketplace is doing. And this is with any business. Welcome back to Life at 10 Tenths, where we inspire people to live at the pinnacle of their ability and purpose. We got Matt Benelli with myself, Garrett Fry, here with you today. We're super excited that you're spending your time with us. As we get things started, if you guys want to go check out what we're building and what we're growing right now, we have a website called Life at 10 Tenths, where we're building an incredible community of people. And inside there, once you get involved with it, you'll be able to understand all the different levels that are available in there. And as we're growing this, and we really are in the growing stages of it right now as we're recording this podcast, we are opening up more and more doors and services that are in there. So if you go check it out and it's really early still and you're like, okay, I'm not seeing it, it's okay. It's coming. We are building this. We got a lot of people we're going to be bringing in. And again, it's going to be so awesome, Matt. I am so excited watching this thing being built right now. Oh, and I got the app. We got to see the app, and It is awesome. So I am so excited.
Yeah, we're building an app, folks. It's going to be awesome. Not ready yet, but it will be by the time this goes out. It might be ready by the time this episode goes out. For sure, you can go to the website, get into our community, because we've already done, Garrett, by this point, one of our live Q&As, which is going to be part of something that we continually deliver inside the 11 Circle, is that plus workshops, guest workshops. We're going to lead workshops. We're going to bring in the best and the brightest who have tools, systems, ideas, principles that they can share with you to help you build that incredible business and incredible life so that you can live at the pinnacle of your ability and purpose. So I'm really excited for it, Garrett.
Well, it's cool as we're building this out. I'm excited for it. So we got to jump into our episode here and get rocking and rolling, because Matt, I know there's a lot of people that think that they just deserve it, but the sad part is they don't necessarily deserve the business, and we got to unpack this.
No, yeah, this is something that it comes up in every business, and from time to time you can see it, and I think we're seeing it more and more often in today's world, potentially because of how, I don't know, certain, youth sports run and certain things like that, where everybody gets a trophy and things like that. But a lot of people think that just because they're in business, just because they have a real estate license, that they deserve the business from their friends and family and other people that know them, or they just deserve, because they showed up, that they should get the business. And that is not true. You don't, just because you exist. Now, I will say you are created for something outrageously special and amazing, but just because your business exists, you exist as a business, a salesperson, doesn't mean that you deserve the business. You have to show up, deliver incredible value, build great relationships, and then the business comes to you.
Yeah, I mean, this is, and I think that's fun about this topic, Matt, is this is every business. This is whether you own a club downtown, this is a tattoo parlor, this is an automobile shop, because the story I told about the transmission on the episode before was meant for this scenario right here.
Yeah.
Because I'm in a situation where it's like, I have a choice whether I'm ever going to go back there again. I have a choice of whether I'm ever going to recommend anybody to go there. I have already had the conversations with people where they're like, I'm never doing business there again, with friends of mine in town. And it's one of those things that they can very easily go, yeah, but we are a transmission shop. We deserve it. People's cars break, they come to us. We have options out here. All of us have options.
Well, and he went as far as telling you, well, I built it this way, so I deserve what I'm charging you for it. And while you're not questioning the product, the thing is this all ties together. You can have a good product, but if you do not treat people right, if you don't build that right relationship, you don't deserve the business just because you have a good product either.
When we were talking before we were recording, Matt, I told you, I said, it's going to be an awesome transmission. Like, I know they build great products there. I know that what they put into this thing, and I know a lot of people out there are going like, how do you know an awesome transmission from a regular transmission? When you're using cars the way I use cars, you can tell. There's different things that happen and what you get out of it. But it's interesting is like the way that the communication happened around that can totally destroy this place where it's like, he's not deserving maybe a future business. That company may really struggle around this as it's not just shouldn't just be given to them, but this is every business. We work with a lot of realtors. And Matt, how many times have you had a real estate agent that has gotten on the phone with you just pissed off because their neighbor across the street who knows they're a realtor, they know what I do for a living, they didn't use me, they used somebody else, and it's a slap in the face, and they did it to me on purpose. And I'm like, you really think they thought it through that far? Like, really? Like, you think they're that vindictive that they're like, you know how I'm going to get Matt? I'm going to go list my home with another realtor. For the most part, is that somebody else deserved that business more in their world. That's it. Simple.
Yeah. It's, man, that happens all the time. Or, oh, my sister or brother didn't use me. They're dead to me now. My best friend didn't use me. They're dead to me. They went around my back. It's like, well, let's talk about that. Right. And here's the other thing. Even if I hear this too, people are like, well, but what if I've been working with them and then they still do that? We need to look internally. Why did that happen? And if we immediately assume it's their problem, we are not going to learn a darn thing from that experience. All we're going to learn is that people suck and I don't want to work with people, which is going to destroy your business because you're then telling the universe that I hate working with people, and your business is surrounded and thrives on working with people.
And here's the other thing, Matt. People in general take the path of least resistance. We take the path that's most comfortable. You know, if you take a step and look back at yourself, by the way, I guarantee you there are people around us that have said, why didn't we choose to use them? This is not just like everybody's just doing this to us. Like, this happens all the time in different scenarios and different services that we all use. It could be an insurance agent that you choose to work with. It could be a pool company that you chose to have come and clean your pool out. There's all these elements where somebody can sit there and say, why did they choose them over me? It must be that they're trying to hurt me, or all kinds of stuff comes up. It's amazing what comes up. At the end of the day, people take the path of least resistance. So if you provide an environment where people understand your value that you offer, and you make it super easy for them to come and work with you, and you show them that you can get the job done, for the most part, you're probably going to earn that business if you make it super easy for them. The minute it becomes difficult, this goes back to the conference I was just at. They said, look at your landing page for your website and look at what is the difficulty level of just trying to be able to buy your product. Because us in society right now, the minute it's not easy, the minute it's not obviously in your face of this is how I take the next step, we go, I'm moving along, and we go over here. We've been trained through all social media, all websites. I think they're saying right now, it used to be 10 seconds on a website. Less than 10 seconds is, I think, what it is now, that if they can't find what they need, they go somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's not personal. It's just, you didn't make it easy for them.
And when it comes to real estate too, which is much of the audience here, you also have to get comfortable with understanding what your business really is and how you provide that service. Because when it comes to buying and selling homes, gosh, there is nothing more important than that transaction to a buyer or seller. And if they feel that they're going to do better with going with a different person, they're going to choose that. Whereas, okay, if I'm going to get my oil change, it's like, I'll go to Garrett's shop because, he's my buddy. They don't do the best job, but it's just an oil change. It's not that big of a deal. They put the right oil in. They take a long time, but you know what? I'm supporting my buddy. But this thing here, selling my house that has hundreds of thousands of equity in it, or making the purchase decision worth hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of dollars, I want to make sure that I'm doing that one right. And different people will have different things that they want out of that service. And the challenge is most services probably don't deliver on a lot of things, but let's say that you are delivering on a lot. There might be a nuance in your service that just isn't for them. Like, you take Sundays off, which is totally fine, and I encourage everybody to do. And maybe you don't have a backup. Okay, fine. But somebody wants to go look at homes on Sunday, they're going to go with somebody else, and that's totally okay. Right? Chick-fil-A operates that way just fine, and they make a ton of money, right? Yep. And I know that's a simple thing, Garrett, but we have to be able to objectively look at our business. And if we're thinking that we just deserve it, we're not being objective at all.
And I think we, again, as people make decisions, so I'm a party personality. That's where my energy lies. I make really fast decisions. Sometimes they're not well thought out. It's in the moment. It's in what's fun. Let's go do that, all in. And we figure out the consequences later. I don't do it to hurt anybody. I don't do it to upset anybody. It's just how I roll. And I'm one of those ones that very easily could have other, let's say, realtors. It's a big decision. It's a huge thing. If I don't have any realtors that have been really engaged with me, friends of mine that have been in my world, I know I'm a perfect example of, I know 10 realtors in town. Let's just say that.
It's even comes down to as simple as who would you refer out to?
I very easily though could be out to dinner with friends and we're just chatting and all of a sudden someone goes, oh my gosh. And all of a sudden, let's say the realtor sitting two tables away from us. They're like, oh my gosh, that's our realtor. And we start talking. Very easily, that person could end up as my realtor selling my house just because of the moment that showed up, the energy that's involved there. And it's like, this feels right. Now, I might halfway through my real estate transaction go, damn it, I should have used Matt. We should have gone with Matt. Now, here's where the opportunity is sitting. In that moment of, damn it, I should have used Matt. Did Matt get all pissed off and bent because I didn't use him? And now we have this weird, really awkward relationship. And now I feel even worse because now I'm knowing that maybe I should have used Matt because I know Matt does a good job, but I kind of got caught up in the moment. It's like, we need to just tone this down. We need to understand that humans make decisions for so many reasons. And very rarely is it vindictive. That's a really low number of why people do stuff to each other. Most people are just operating, their brain subconsciously is making quick decisions throughout the day of why we're going to do this. Why did we swerve that car a little bit this way? Why did we decide to turn down that street on our way home rather than taking the normal way that we take home? There's all kinds of stuff we do without even thinking twice about it. And these are one of these things that we need to be okay with. But we also need to step back and say, is there things that I could have done that would have made that path easier for them to come to me? Conversations I could have had, times I could have reached out. My favorite, Matt, is when I ask somebody, when was the last time you actually talked to that person that you're so upset with right now that isn't using you? And more often than not, they're like, it's been a couple months. I'm like, well, what did you expect?
Yeah. Or you'll get I see my neighbor every day. I wave to them every morning. It's like, okay, well, do you talk to them? Do you engage? Do you know them? Do you really know them? Did you know that they were going to be listing their house? Because if you didn't, you're clearly not talking to them enough, right? And Garrett, I think there is a lot that we can do to build this energy of attraction and protect ourselves from these moments. Doesn't mean you deserve the business. This is how you earn the business, right?
That's really important. What you just said there, it's not the deserving, but it's like, how do I earn the opportunity to be able to help these people?
Yeah. And when you're a solo operator or even a small team, you're going to have to make decisions and choices based on your time and energy and your funds as well. But the conversations you said, that's one. How can we increase our frequency of communication in a productive manner where we can learn about each other? And two, how can I deliver more value more frequently? We actually just talked about this on an episode a couple weeks ago. And if I talked to a gentleman the other day and I said, well, so what are you doing to attract business? This is somebody completely new to my world, and said, well, I'm doing cold calling of expireds and cancels. And I said, okay, well, how's that working out? He goes, okay. I said, well, are you driving them anywhere? Like, is there a newsletter, a mailing, a item of value, a call to action when you leave these voicemails? No, I just say the same thing every time. I'm like, well, there's no value there, right? And the same thing goes with our existing relationships. Like, yeah, I know Garrett's a realtor, but I that's all I know. I just know he's a realtor. I don't know how good he is. I don't know if he knows what he's talking about. And given today with like headlines that are outrageously confusing, if you're not sharing information and calming that confusion when you have two articles that compete with each other, one saying record high sales prices and another saying home prices are falling, very, very confusing. And if you're not addressing things like that, people aren't going to find you necessarily unless there's no one else providing that value. But if somebody is, they're probably going to earn the business over you.
Well, and I think that, a lot of times we get into a place of kind of complacency of this is just how I do it. Like you're talking about the gentleman, like this is just the message I leave. And it's like, well, where are you directing them? What are you doing different? How are you switching this up? Well, that's just what I do. And I think in a lot of real estate agents, and we're using realtors because that's a lot of our audience here. But I mean, this is any business out here at all, whatever you're doing, that we can get kind of in a rut of this is just what we do. And I was talking with somebody here a couple of weeks ago, and they said, the best thing you can always do is always be tweaking, always be looking at stuff and saying, okay, I've used that voice message for the last 10 calls. Let's try something different. I have, for the last month, I've seen my neighbor in the front yard and I've been like, hey, Matt. And you've been like, hey, Garrett. And it's like, well, what if I walked over to the side of our property line and actually engaged Matt? Like, what if we just took some little extra steps that doesn't really take any extra time, but it's a little bit different just to tweak it to see if that makes a difference in that relationship. You can do this with any of the systems that you use to run your business. If you have handwritten notes as part of your business, well, what are little tweaks we could do that make that a little bit more powerful so that when it gets into somebody's hands, we're getting a better result in return? If you're sitting down and do an annual real estate checkup with somebody, well, am I just giving them some documents and being like, oh, hey, I hope you enjoyed that? Or are we actually doing something that's making people walk around and talk about us and go, I've never worked with a realtor or been around a realtor that provides what you provide. Like you are on a different level than everybody else out there. Same thing with getting simple oil changes, Matt. If you own an oil change shop, it's like, well, like what are things that could be done different that make me stand out, bring a little extra communication, a little extra touch in there so that we actually create a business that is attracting people and is growing through referrals and recommendations. And it's funny is it doesn't take a whole lot. But sometimes we just get stuck. We get stuck in a rut. We get stuck in just, this is what we do. And again, it just always amazes me when somebody gets into that, I deserve it, or don't they know? And are they trying to hurt me? And it's like, no, not at all. And it's way more in your control than you think it is. But you need to be willing to tweak, and you need to be able to look at it from a different light, see what's going on a little bit differently.
Well, and I'll add this one other element too, because we talked about communication, talking to lots of people, getting to know people, making sure you're delivering a lot of value to the people that you know, and even the people you don't know. But the one component that I also see a lot of people who think that they deserve it so much more than anybody else, they think that their process and that they're doing the business is so good. They think it's the best. Like they are the best out there. And
confidence is good.
Confidence is very good.
Confidence is good.
But you're probably not. And I know I'm not the best coach out there. I know that I need to continue to get better. I know that I need to, and that helps me seek out opportunities to grow and to learn and earn more business. And if you are thinking you deserve the business, use that as an indicator of like, hey, maybe I need to also take a look at my systems and processes to see where can I step that up so that the customers that I'm currently working with are so wowed. They're so enamored with this service that they're going out and telling other people about it too. And I'm earning new business through my current business, because that's an incredible opportunity that a lot of realtors miss out on, Garrett.
So to unpack a little bit about what you just said there about, when you think you're the best, you may not be. And I think, to dig into that a little bit deeper, what happens is when you think you're that good, you stop learning and you stop growing. You stop looking at it objectively and saying, what could I do different here to even get a bigger, better result? Because we have this little voice in our head that just says, I'm the best. And when you're the best, there's no place to go. Like, that's just it. You're there. You've arrived. You're the best. Where when you step back and say, okay, no, how can I be better? What can I do to improve? That's the place where growth can happen, when you realize that there's always upper levels that we could push this thing to, and the services that we could provide and how we can show up for our people. And again, this is any industry you have out there. If you think your ice cream is the best, it's like at some point you're like, we're done. We're done. We're the best. We're just going to do this for the next 50 years and everything should be good. Well, all of a sudden, other brands come up, other things happen, things change. And if we're not evolving, if we're not improving, if we're not looking at what's around us and saying, how can we provide just a little bit extra service all the time and just kind of keep cranking things up, dropping things out that aren't as good as we thought they were. And this is part of being in that growth pattern. And sometimes it's like, what I thought here was so valuable, people don't care about. And I've had that happen in my business where I think there's something that is so good, it's the golden part. And then when you start to ask people, they're like, man, it doesn't really do a darn thing for me at all. It's like, well, okay, maybe it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
You got to be in that growth mindset. And if you're not in the growth mindset, you think you're the best, this is where the difficulty arises, what you're talking about, Matt, and you're probably not. It's okay. We should always be growing.
Yeah. And so I think, we fall into these patterns, Garrett, from time to time. I've been there, right? Where I'm like, gosh, why isn't that person using me? Like they should, like, I'm the guy, right? And if you can switch that question or that statement of, I deserve this business, to a question of what can I do to earn this business, then you're growing. And it's just that simple switch in language that will change everything for you. And you'll also be able to see, like, maybe I didn't want that business, or maybe I really did. And this is how I need to operate if I do want that business, because I'm mismatching my picture of what I want my business to do and how I want to run my life. Sometimes those pictures don't match. And we need to talk about that. What can I do to earn that business?
We can get into a place that I think once we think we have it, that we've just got it, and it's that's ours forever, and we just get to hold on. I mean, I'm watching this right now, and I feel bad even bringing this up because I really do appreciate this gentleman. My gardener he's amazing. He's been incredible. That service is changing as I'm watching him grow out, and he's getting bigger, and all of a sudden, this person that I've been raving about and I've been telling everybody about, I'm kind of like, he's doing the job now. Like, it's not anything that I'm like, things that he was all over, making sure some of my, my planter boxes in the front yard were completely scoured of weeds. And I'm like, I walked out the other day and I'm like, that's weird. Like, there's a lot of weeds in there. Like, he used to spray that. Like, why doesn't he spray it anymore? Like, interesting.
Well, that highlights the earning is never over.
It's never over.
It's never over. It never stops.
And so in nicest guy in the world, he is so incredibly nice. And am I sitting here saying I'm going to change my pattern right now and get somebody else? Probably not. Is there that door open that if all of a sudden someone said, can I do your yard for a week? I just want to show you what I can do. No charge at all. I just want to show you what I can do different. I might be open to it. Might be like, sure. Yeah. Show me what you got. Show me where you're at. And it's also his name's Leo. He is so awesome. It's his opportunity right now to sit down with me and say, I've been doing your yard for 6 months. Is there anything that you would like to be done different? Is there anything that I could be doing here? And I think that that's where the opportunity of growth lies. Instead of just saying, I've got this business, I show up, I do the yard, I move on to the next yard. It wouldn't take very much for me to sit there and say, what would be huge for me right now is I have a broken sprinkler that I haven't been able to get to. And yeah, some of these planter boxes there's more weeds in it than I would like to see. Is there anything we can do about that? Is that something you want me to take care of, or is that something you can take care of? And he may very easily go, oh my gosh. He calls me Mr. Boss, Mr. Boss Man. I bet you he would say, done, taken care of. But if we get complacent and we stop growing and we stop learning and we stop wondering, like, hey, where are these people that I've earned this business from that I think I've just got going forever right now? We just need to take a step back and ask more questions, learn a little bit, earn that business, always be earning that business. And we watch it, Matt, people grow. I'll say it this way, done this long enough with realtors that if you're constantly earning the business, there is exponential growth every single year, no matter what the marketplace has to offer. A lot of people go like, oh, we're going to have a good year or a bad year, depending on what the real estate market's doing. And it's like, that doesn't mean a darn thing. If you are earning these relationships and you're earning these people that are around you and you're showing up for them, I've watched exponential growth every single year. It doesn't matter what the marketplace is doing. And this is with any business. So I think that's kind of the bow on what we've been sitting here talking about is just constantly be earning, Matt. Don't expect it's just going to be given to you.
Absolutely. Get out there and earn it today, right? Earn everything. Earn your fitness, earn your health, earn your business, earn your relationships, earn the trust.
Speaking of your health, how you feeling?
Dude, I'm losing it.
Highly caffeinated, body failing.
I'm losing it. I'm fading. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If I sound a little, headspacey, it's because I am. We'll find out today if what really is going on here. But appreciate you, Garrett. Appreciate everybody listening. I love doing this, and so it bummed me out the other day when we couldn't record. And I'm glad we got a couple in today. And I really appreciate everybody for tuning in because we're seeing those numbers go up, which is amazing. So if you guys do like this episode, if you like any of these episodes, what would be absolutely incredible is if you got value to share it with somebody else who you might think would get similar value out of it, because that's how this thing grows. And if you guys want to come join us in our community, we have a community. Go over to lifeat10tenths.com. We have our 11 Circle, which is our premium community, but we also have a completely free to you community where you can collaborate with people, connect with people. And the cool thing about what we have there, Garrett, too, is if you fill out your profile, people will know where you're at. So if you want to send some business back and forth and find a fellow listener or a fellow Life at 10 Tenths collaborator, you can just search an area. Search Charleston, boom, I'll pop up. You search Reading, Garrett will pop up. So
are they going to be
go check
tenors?
that out.
What do we call them? Tenors? No, tenors. Yeah. We got to figure out a name, Matt. All right.
Maybe we'll let the folks decide.
It will happen. There will be something that will come up. It's okay. We'll let
push the folks decide. Right. Well, guys, we appreciate you a ton. So stay tuned. We'll see you on the next episode. Appreciate you guys a whole lot.
Thanks, everybody.